of damages. It can even kill. So in today's video, I'll be exposing 15 common and dangerous electrical mistakes that people make on a daily basis, starting from their normal routine, ignorance, and so many other things. Some of them are because of overconfidence, maybe because you are a professional in the field, you make such mistakes. I know that most of these mistakes, I made them when I was upcoming. And if care is not taken, one may continue to make these same mistakes regularly. So whether you are a regular user of electricity or you are a beginner in the field, this video is going to save your life or the life of someone out there. This is not a regular tutorial video. This is a call to safety. You must take good care of yourself. You must ensure your safety. You must ensure the safety of the end users of all our electrical systems or electrical installations. So stick around with me. This video might be a little longer, but it's worth the time, the few minutes that you will bring out to pay attention to some of these mistakes. And if you find this video useful, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share with people that may need it. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be the first to see the next time we post important videos like this. And remember, we would like to share your thoughts, your suggestions, and your experiences, and also what you feel about these mistakes. So tell us what you feel, tell us your experiences. Now, let's dive in and be safe together. Number one is underestimating household voltage. A lot of our electricians and non-electricians assume that household voltage is not powerful enough to harm anybody. But I tell you, it is wrong. Because household voltage might seem very low. After all, one would say it is between 220 to 240 volts. It cannot kill anybody, it can only bite you. It is wrong. Household voltage can actually cause a shock, it can cause paralysis of the muscles, it can even stop the heart from beating, and that means death. So the same voltage you are underrating. It is the voltage that has caused a lot of problems. Most of the fatal electrical accidents doesn't happen at the power line. It happens at homes where people make mistakes, where a lot of things people feel it is nothing, and the household voltage is underestimated. So underestimating the household voltage, it has caused a lot of problems. So in this video today, I want to let you know that underestimating household voltage is one of the mistakes that people make, and this underestimation, you don't forget that the voltage we are talking about is the same voltage that we use to power our household gadgets like the cooker units, like our ACs and our fridges. Have you ever experienced a shock at home before? If you have experienced a shock before, you will know that household voltage is not something you play around with. It can kill. There are 4 important questions we should be asking here. One of the questions is that why do people make these mistakes? Mistake number 2 is ignoring wet electrical hazards. Electricity and water don't mix. Yes, a lot of people forget this when cleaning their homes, using electrical devices, and when dealing with flooded area. Water is a good conductor of electricity, so it increases the conductivity of your body, making every small current to be deadly. One of the quick and silent ways electricity kills is through water or wet conditions. A flooded room with light socket or light extension is not just risky, but it is a death trap. A university student who once traveled forgot to switch off or off the tap in her bathroom. She also forgot to switch off the electrical system, the gadgets in her room, because there was light out. So when she traveled and came back, it was the grace of God that before she entered the room, it was noticed that the flow coming out of her room was actually carrying current. So the question we should be asking here, there are always 4 important questions we need to ask. So the first question we should be asking here is, why do people make these mistakes? It is because of ignoring. They ignore, they overlook these mistakes. They use it, they see it as nothing to be worried about. So people ignore it, that is number 1, and there are other reasons why people ignore it. Number 2 question is, what are the dangers involved? Members of these dangers will act as a reminder to help us avoid this kind of hazard, or to be ready and watch out. Then the third question we should be asking, or we should be worried about, is what are the home situations or site situations that we should look out for in order to be prepared, so that when you notice something, when you notice this, or you look out for this, when you notice this is wrong, you'll be able to hold yourself or make preparations. You prepare yourself and be safety conscious. Situation like you are using your filing machine or your drilling machine on site and the generator is on already, your cables are exposed, there is flood through which you pass your cables, and you are not worried about whether the two exposed cables will touch the floor or not. You see, these are red pointers that we are about to make mistakes. So when you notice this, you should take precaution. You should be very careful. And the fourth question is, what are the remedies? How do we completely avoid these mistakes? Of course, I'll be leaving a link below the description of this video. You can always check the description to get the answers to these 4 questions. Mistake number 3 is rushing into electrical repairs without turning off power. Now, carrying out electrical repairs without turning off power supply is a reckless mistake that could lead to fatal electrical accidents. This is one of the mistakes I regularly made when I was just a beginner. Well, I may not have enough time to start telling you about my past mistakes, but please and please, my advice here is that you try as much as you can to learn from other people's mistakes so that you'll be on a safer side. Do you know that a single life touch during maintenance work, maybe during the replacement of your bulb or your socket, could knock you into unconsciousness or result to involuntary muscle contraction? A lot of persons had fallen off ladders maybe after receiving minor shocks. It resulted to bone fracture or head injuries. If you are to carry out an electrical maintenance work or repair work in an environment where you know that people have access to the power switches of the system, what do? You need to lock out, you need to tap the switch or the breakers in order to avoid accidental switching on. Always double check even after turning off your switches and your breakers. They could be misleading at times. It could either be that they are faulty or they are mislabeled, and let people know that the system has been turned off, that maintenance work is about to begin, that you are about to carry out maintenance work, to avoid someone mistakenly and unknowingly going back to turn it on. And even if you are not an electrician, be in the habit, form the habit of turning off your switches before changing your light bulbs. It is very risky. You need to educate your kids, you need to educate your spouse. Form this habit. This little habit could save you a lifetime regret even in the future. Mistake number 4 is using your fingers to test live cables. It is unsafe and reckless for you to test whether a cable is carrying current or not with your body, especially with your fingers. This practice is outdated, it is unsafe, it is dangerous. If you have been practicing this, if you have been doing this with your body, you have to put it to a stop, whether you are an electrician or non-electrician. A lot of people or a lot of beginners has believed that they've mastered electricity. So they can go without their tester and use their body to test whether a wire or cable is carrying current or not, especially low voltage. While some apprentice electricians see their oga or their master do this and they believe it is safe, that your oga or your master does this doesn't mean it is safe. It is not safe. You have to take precautions for your own safety. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think some electricians lose their lives or die in the field even after being acquainted with the rules and the regulations, with the safety rules and all whatnot? The answer is not far-fetched. The answer is, one, it is because they refuse to stick to the safety rules of electricity. And secondly, it is because they know it, but they assume that they are professionals. So please and please, you have to stick to the rules for your own safety and for the safety of everyone. And finally, make sure you invest in the right tools. Invest in the right tools and invest in safety. Mistake number 5 is cutting live and neutral cables at the same time. Cutting live and neutral cables simultaneously with a metallic tool can actually trigger a short circuit, it can cause sparks, it can cause burns, it can damage your tools, it can also trip your breakers. So if you are cutting cables of different colors, it is important that you make sure that they are separated from each other to avoid them touching and damaging your cutting tools. This small action can save you from accident or serious injury. Electricity doesn't care whether you are fast, experienced, or tired, but it reacts quickly to every single mistake. So if you are cutting cables of different colors, always be 100% sure that they are turned off, no current is passing through them, or they are isolated from each other. So always cut cables with proper care, ensuring that they are separated from each other. Cut them with proper care and stay safe. Mistake number 6 is removing the top of the DB, the distribution board, or you can call it your consumer unit. Most beginner electricians do this, and this shortcut violates safety and good electrical practice. Please, it should be avoided. Imagine buying a brand new car. You just bought a brand new car and maybe you want to be using it to carry your family. And let's assume you are a family of 6 and your vehicle, the new car, can only carry 4 or 3 persons, for instance. Now imagine removing the seats and all the seat accessories. The seat belts, the seats, the front seats, the driver's seat, the seat at the back. You remove everything just because you want to accommodate all your family members. It's not right. You are actually damaging the car. The same way you are damaging the distribution board when you remove the top cover. The top cover, there are space provided at the top cover and at the bottom. In some distribution boards, you see spaces by the sides, top and the bottom, so that it will be able to accommodate the number of pipes provided or the number of pipes meant to be accommodated. And if I may tell you the problems associated with this single mistake, it's not just about the mebush. Yes, because when you remove the top of the DB, the mebush will no longer come into play. Yes, but that is not just the problem. The problem is that you have exposed your cables to dangers, and at the same time, dust can enter into it, water can enter into it, and all other things that should be avoided in that enclosure. You must have exposed your cables and this whole system to danger. And it can also cause rejection of your work during inspection. Don't try to modify the already manufactured distribution board. The manufacturers know what they did. And besides, I've created a lot of videos that would have helped you in preparing your conduit piping, your conduit layout, so that during the preparation you prepare a working drawing, select the DB. If the DB you are actually installing there is not going to accommodate, the spaces are not going to accommodate all your conduit pipe, then you have to select the right DB. So if you want to know more about how to prepare your working drawing and your layout so that it will suit your DB, check the link below the description of this video and learn more about how to avoid some of these little mistakes. The manufacturers did nice work in creating or in manufacturing the consumer units. So please, let's take correction and avoid this mistake. It will help us to keep ourselves and other people out there safe. Mistake number 7 is wire peeling during conduit wiring. A lot of beginners notice that when they are fishing their wires, they notice their cables are being peeled, their cables are strapped or get damaged, and they put all the blames to either the cable or the installation of the cable. At times the problem may not be the cable, the problem may actually be that starting from the DB entry to the boxes, the bushes is not actually or are not actually provided. The problem may actually be that the DB, starting from the entry of the DB to the boxes, no bushes were provided. Other possible reasons why your wires or your cables may peel during fishing includes: one, it may actually peel because of how sharp the conduit bend is. The pipe that you bent, maybe you are not the person that did the pipe work or the conduit piping, and you are to do the wire installation or the wiring. If one, the bend is too sharp, the 90-degree bend is less than 90 degrees. That is, if the bend is too sharp, that is one. You will notice that the wires, the fishing tape may not pass there easily, except it is open and tapped. So when you are fishing, it is either tapped or you rebend it if it is not covered on the wall. Now, another problem is if you are not using a lubricant. That is why we use lubricant. You need to use a lubricant so that the lubricant will be able to reduce the friction when pulling. The third one is that the force you are using to pull, don't use too much force to pull your cables, especially when the distance is far. When the distance is far, if the distance, for instance, is more than 10 meters, don't use too much force to pull your cable. Pull once at a time. When you pull, you lubricate at the other end. The other person at the other end will lubricate the cable, then you pull. He will tell you to pull, you pull. So the lubricant, the application of the lubricant is very important. You have to make sure that you use lubricant. Another thing that could actually cause wire peeling is the edge where you connect your fishing tape with the wire. If it is too rough, it can affect the pulling. So if you are terminating the end of the cable or the beginning of your cable with your fishing tape or your fisher, make sure it is not too rough. Make sure it is not rough. Then you can use tape, installation tape, to tape it so that you don't overstress yourself trying to pull this cable. What are the best practices or the best practices? One, you should always avoid sharp bends. Avoid sharp bends. Okay, let me say, starting from the DB, you should always make sure that you use the right bushes. Don't remove the top of your DB. No, don't remove the top. What you need to do is to first of all check your circuit. One circuit can serve two rooms. Don't make each room to be one circuit. Every room is one circuit. Every socket is one circuit. No. Up to five or six sockets can actually go into one circuit. One or two rooms with their bathrooms can actually be one circuit. That is two holes now. It is only your AC that is supposed to be one circuit per AC. Your water heater and your cooker unit can be one circuit, each of them. So make sure your bends are okay. They are not too sharp. Secondly, make sure that you use lubricants. Don't just be pulling wires because you think you have muscle or you have enough energy. No. Always respect your cables. Pull those cables with some respect. So lubricate them while you pull. The next best practice here is that you should always terminate your wires smoothly. Make sure you terminate them smoothly so that you don't overstress yourself, you don't damage your conduit pipes as well as your conduit cables. So make your termination very smooth. And if you are going a far distance, like 15 meters, you make sure you lubricate. And also install tool boxes or adaptable boxes. Always install points where you can use to ease the force, to reduce the force, or to help yourself so that the stress will not be much on you. So you should always do this. Anytime we are installing our pipes, our conduit cables or wires. So let's try as much as it lies within us to use good accessories during all our installations. Don't use substandard materials so that we'll be able to save ourselves and the end users. A lot of people out there, they are relying on us. So as an electrician, we need to keep everybody safe. Do your part and remain blessed. At this point, we'll be ending this part 1. In our next video, we'll be starting with the part 2 of this particular video, starting from mistake number 8 to mistake number 15. If you like what we are doing here, you can give us a thumbs up, share with other people who may need this particular video, subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss the part 2 of this video. And we would like to share your comments, we would like to share your thoughts and your experiences, so don't forget to drop your comments at the comment section below. Thank you for watching.